Hello and welcome to our National Virtual Village Gathering. I'm Barbara Sullivan, Executive Director of Village to Village Network, and I'm very honored today to introduce Alison Barkoff, who leads the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Administration for Community Living, or also known as ACL. Alison performs the duties of the ACL Administrator and the Assistant Secretary for Aging. In her role at ACL, Alison provides executive leadership and coordination for ACL programs nationwide and serves as an advisor to the HHS Secretary Becerra on issues that impact people with disabilities and older adults. Alison is a lifelong advocate for community living who has worked tirelessly at the forefront of national efforts to expand the home and community-based services that make community living possible for so many people. She has appeared in front of Congress and the U.S. Commission on Civil Rights, and has been a part of countless coalitions for people with disabilities, older adults, and advocates, often in her role as a civil rights attorney. She has served as special counsel for the Olmstead Enforcement in the Civil Rights Division of the U.S. Department of Justice, held leadership roles with the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, and the Department of Labor. She previously directed advocacy efforts at both the Center for Public Representation and at the Bazelon Center for Mental Health. Alison, welcome. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Barbara, and thanks to everyone in the Village to Village Network for all you do in the hundreds of villages spread across America. You are all such an important part of helping older adults age in place and remain a part of their communities. Let me tell you just a little bit about the Administration for Community Living and why we are so grateful for the work done in the villages. ACL was founded in 2012 in order to accelerate efforts to make community living possible for older adults and people with disabilities. We were formed as a response to the fact that people overwhelmingly want to live in their own homes and participate in the community of their choice instead of moving to nursing homes or other congregate settings. At ACL and across the Department of Health and Human Services, we believe that people have the right to make decisions about their lives and that where you live is a fundamental right and a deeply personal decision. As the Village to Village Network knows, some people need support to live at home. The truth is, most of us at some point in our life will need support. And we also know that the kind of support we need to live at home may change, and that requires flexibility. For some people, that might mean help with transportation, cooking, or cleaning. And for many older adults and their families, they may worry about how they can age in place safely. And that's one reason why ACL prioritizes programs like our Falls Prevention Program that provides strategies to safely age in place. The amazing growth and flexibility of the Village to Village Network is evidence of the strength of the community living movement. At ACL, we applaud your support of over 40,000 older adults who choose to live at home, and we know that number continues to grow. 270 villages is an amazing number, and I understand from Barbara that you have 70 more villages in the process of fully joining your ranks. That is incredible. I want to pivot and take a moment to thank everyone for all of the work you continue to do to protect our communities from COVID-19. We lost too many of our family members, friends, and neighbors, especially in the early days of the pandemic. And we continue to see many people struggling today with the lingering impacts of long COVID and the ongoing risks of COVID. I'm so grateful that the Village to Village Network has joined with ACL, US Aging, and the National Council on Aging to increase the accessibility and availability of the most recent updated COVID-19 vaccinations. It is so important that we continue to make sure older adults have access to vaccinations and accurate vaccine information, regardless of their situation, whether they live in rural areas or need help with transportation or even need in-home vaccinations. Thank you for joining with us to prevent as many hospitalizations and deaths as possible. I know it's not what many people want to hear, but COVID is still a threat, especially to older adults, and it is up to us collectively to help ensure that every older adult who is willing to get vaccinated can be. The volunteers in the Village to Village network are part of what President Biden calls the caregiving infrastructure. Your support not only helps older adults, but also helps support their family caregivers who can't necessarily provide 100% of the support their loved ones need. The help that villages can provide fill that gap so older adults in our communities receive all of the support they deserve. At ACL, we have been leading efforts to support family caregivers, and last year, we helped develop the first ever national strategy to support family caregivers. This strategy includes over 350 commitments from federal agencies. It is a full government community organization philanthropy partnership. This strategy is easy to find at acl.gov, and I hope you can take a moment to read through it and see how we can work together to help support the 53 million family caregivers who help older adults age in place and people with disabilities live in the community. In the strategy, you will see how we collectively can help ensure that all people have the opportunity to live and participate in their communities, regardless of age, disability, or level of support need. I also want to highlight the importance of forming partnerships to help people secure affordable, accessible housing. Affordable, accessible housing is a huge barrier to people aging in place. In this wealthy country, we only have 40 affordable and available homes for every 100 extremely low-income households, and less than 5% of those homes can accommodate people who have moderate mobility limitations. And almost 25% of the homeless population is older adults, and unfortunately, that percentage continues to grow. ACL is leading a partnership between HHS agencies and the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, coordinating housing and social services like those provided by your network and facilitating state and local partnerships. We've created the Housing and Services Resource Center, which you can learn about on ACL's webpage, and I really encourage you to get engaged. The Housing and Services Resource Center is driving collaborations among federal, state, and local housing agencies and community organizations. Please visit acl.gov to sign up for housing announcements, including many webinars that might be of interest to many of you. I want to close by saying that I've only touched on a few areas where our missions overlap. I know that many of you are working with your local area agencies on aging, and I want to urge you to continue growing those partnerships. ACL has more than 20,000 community-based organizations that are part of our aging and disability network. And together, we are supporting millions of people so they can exercise their right to live in the community of their choice. Because of the support your villages provide, tens of thousands of people are able to maintain their independence. No one wakes up in the morning and says, today is the day I'd like to be less independent. No one. And we know people need support to remain independent. So thank you for being there to offer your support, to be the boots on the ground that make a difference. Thank you.